So for this practice session, we're going to practice some beats in 3/4 time. So if you've ever seen a time signature, it looks like a division thing with one number on top, one number on the bottom. So 3/4 would be 3 on the top, 4 on the bottom. It looks a little bit like a 3/4, and that's basically a good way to think about it. There's going to be 3 quarter notes in each bar. Okay? So the bar is going to be 3/4 of the normal length. So this can be a bit difficult at first if you only ever played in 4/4 time, but we're going to practice it a little bit today. So good way just to start, we're just going to start on the hi-hat. We're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 now we can bring in a kick and a snare. So let's bring in the kick on 1, let's bring in the snare on 3. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 now let's bring in an extra kick, say. So let's go kick on the 1 and 2, snare on the 3. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and cool. So that's something that's good to practice a little bit to get your head used to the mode of doing 3 quarter notes in a bar instead of 4. Another thing we could do, say, with this time is put the kick on 1 and then put the snare on the end of 2. So that goes a little bit like this. You go 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and what you might find yourself doing is when you hit 2 pads at the same time, you tend to accent those pads. So the hi-hat accents, instead of going 1 and 2 and 3 and sort of accenting the 2, you'll accent the end, just as a result of hitting 2 pads at once. So when we do that, when we go 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, we're actually making it into 2 sets of 3 instead of 3 sets of 2. So way back in the very first lesson, I talked about 6 groups of 6, right? And there could be 2 sets of 3 or 3 sets of 2. So when we start doing a beat with 2 sets of 3, it more becomes like this time signature 6/8. Okay, and that's identical length of bar to the 3/4. It's just got a little bit of a different feel. So it goes 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. Certainly things are just cool to know. So let's practice that beat a little bit more. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. So you can see how that has a different feel to. Okay, so some stuff to practice. I'll see you next time.